Well, good morning, guys. Monday morning here. Let's see if we can't get a little Fleabay edition. Now, I've not looked at any of this stuff yet, so we're going to go through and look at a few things and see if anything really grabs our attention. Then we're going to go in a couple other areas and look at the same stuff again because I've been missing out on some machines. So, Atlas Shapers here. I don't see anything really new listed. There's some parts. Yeah, there's some internal parts, some motor mount brackets and things like that. They look like they're from one seller. I don't think I'm going to go in and look at them here. Yeah, motor mount bracket here, an S7-74 for $39.99. These are from, look like they're from a seller that has been out here and selling for a long time. Now, it seems like some of these prices are dropping down quite a bit on some stuff, like these motor mount brackets, $39.99 and $8.65 shipping. That's probably not too far out of line from where it actually should be. And these look like they've been cleaned up a little bit maybe, but they're just parts out here. Another one's the motor mount base 050-030, $59.99 and $10.85 shipping. That's probably still relatively fair. I think we're getting a little bit higher there. But other than that, we go on down into the stuff we've already talked about. There's that 4-inch vise here that they want $350. It's missing one jaw and everything. That, we talked about those before, so there's no sense in looking any farther than that. Let's go to, let's see, let's change our search here a little bit. Yeah, I really don't see anything new. This is stuff that we've looked at even looking there. So let's go back here and look at milling machines. MFC milling machine vertical head, $13.20, no bids, $250 shipping. Let's go, and now that looks to be an actual okay, seller has been around, one that I'm not really familiar with as far as selling in stuff that I normally look at. MFC machine vertical head, power feed works, change gears included. Change gears included. We were going to look at this. It's heavy. We'll need freight to ship this item. And that's all we see there. Do we have... Let's just look at big pictures and see what we see here. This does have a Marvin vertical head, and you don't see too many Marvin vertical heads. We may have to go back and look at these a little bit closer. So it does have a Marvin vertical head. A lot of these guys, when they do appear, they're trying to sell the vertical head itself just for the price of what they're starting the bidding at this machine for. This is probably a later machine. And what do we have here? This may be at least somewhat of a parts machine. Let's look at the big pictures first, then if we want to go back, we'll look a little bit closer. Got quite a bit of rust and gunk on it. I'm not seeing anything that's really impressing me. Craftsman motor. So if that is indeed, and this won't be the original motor because it's got a switch on it. This is a motor that's been put on from something else. This machine's pretty ragged looking, so there's a lot of brown stuff on everything on this machine. Now, change gears. These gears probably do not even go with this machine. At least most of them would be my guess. It'd be interesting to look a little bit closer and see what we see there because you don't normally have change gears on this machine, and that's all we've got for big pictures. So let's go back and look at this a little bit closer here and see what we see. Vice handle's not something, somebody's added something on there. This box of gears, maybe some of them go with this machine, maybe some of them don't, maybe some of them go with a lathe, I don't know. These look like, you look in the right hand bottom corner of this picture, you're looking at the bottoms of these, those look like a set of vice jaws that would go on normally the cross feed table. Is what those look like to me. Maybe we get a better picture. I don't think we get a better picture later on. See, they've added a switch here, which means that, or that, it's got that switch, which is not the original switch either. So this has been changed quite a bit. Like I say, that motor's not original. Table's awful brown. Does have a vise with it. Got that Marvin Vertical Head, which is interesting. You don't see many with the covers on them like that either, which is also kind of interesting. It will be, I will save these just as a reference so that I can go back and print those out, because I add those to my file when I see stuff that's really oddball. Looks like the guard is in the back in that milk carton there. If that's, you know, who knows what they've done here. Let's go to the next picture and see if it shows us anything different. Yeah, we can't really see that side yet anyway. Pretty ragged looking machine. Now see, we've got another switch down here. So is that switch wired in? Is the other switch wired? You know, who knows what we've got. A lot of brown rust on there. Yeah, chrome's flaking off the overarm knobs. And there's our bar that sticks through that supports the overarm support. This is a kind of a ragged looking machine. There's no hinge pin on there. That guard is just sitting on top. Guard's not even attached. The other guard's not installed there. So this has been stacked together for your perusal. Now, is this even a complete functional machine? You know, is the next question. The belt's dangling there, so it's not hooked to the counter shaft. And what's actually assembled on this machine and what's not. This is, you know, this is kind of a ragged setup here, if you ask me. So I would say somebody slammed this together to try and sell you something. Yeah, the guard's just been set on there. This is a cobbled together something or other. I'd say no for me. Okay, here's another one. Vintage bench top mill, 110 volt pre-owned, $22.99.99. Okay, seller with a lot of feedback, not one I recognize. Free local pickup. What's the description say? Atlas MFB horizontal milling machine, vintage bench top mill, 110 volt, used condition with dings, dents, and scratches. Top layer of paint is peeling off. Not a good paint job by previous owner. Estate auction purchase selling as found. Normal wear, has backlash in the table feed crank. Runs good. See photos for details. Okay, big pictures. Table's been busted out. It's got inserts put in. Got a T-slot, you know, got a plate put on top, which if properly done, this is not a bad thing. The production table that I have for the production mill going together, it has been repaired. I think it's got a better job than this. It's been machined down and then recessed down in. The way this is done, you're losing a little bit of distance there. Not too much, but you're using a little bit of distance, and there's not too many bolts holding that on there. So maybe it's good, maybe it's not, you know. Handles look good. Next picture, we don't have the proper Gibbs screws here. I don't know what that knob is there. I don't see a table kick out in this feed. It's got the gearbox here. It looks right. Yeah, it's been. Now, who knows if this has actually been repainted? If we're looking at cast, this looks like we're looking at cast iron here. So this may have been original paint, and it may have been in such an environment and beat around so much that it's actually really just flaking off, or maybe it has been repainted at some point in time from the darker gray and it is peeling. This is a pretty ragged machine. This has been in a rough environment. You see all the windows yellowed out. The paint's faded off of here. I don't know whose switch that is. I would suspect this has been used in an industrial environment, and probably from looking at the size and monstrosity and setup of that switch, this is probably was a three-phase machine. That's not an original handle there, original knob. Now see, this is interesting because this is one of the machines that the casting, this lower portion of the center section of this hinge is cast right into the casting. Most of these that we're seeing now were screwed on with two screws. They were a separate piece. So it's very evident when you look at them. Proper guards. This is a B model. Now this is a late enough machine. It's got the plate on the back. The very early machines were solid on here, and this gives you access to the pump, the coolant pump that was built into some of these. Box of probably pretty dull cutters. What is that, a 6010, 5010? That's a fairly low serial number there for an MFB. Okay, they've added these to the top. Yeah, the T-slot was busted out on the table, so they've just machined away the rest of it. The one on my table has been machined on down in. This is recessed down in there, so it still comes out flush with the top of the table. This is a replacement end cap. Looks like that's brass rather than the original Zamac that was chrome plated. Handle's busted off. Motor's got a big cap sitting on top. That's not an original Atlas motor, I don't believe. That countershaft handle looks kind of odd. It looks short and it's got a great big knob on it. I think that's probably been changed. That's a little bit different drawbar. That will not be a standard Atlas drawbar. Looks like that's got a hex on the end of it. And that's all our pictures. So used and abused machine, you know, was it worth $2,200, $2,300? Not to me. $1,200 machine, dollar worth. Half. Table feed gear case, somebody's parting one out, $275. I wouldn't even comment there. Then we're back into stuff that we've already seen. Now here is a set of index centers. M1205, M1202, 375. That's got 21 bids on it, and $25 shipping. Index centers. Well, what's the description say? Yeah, I've seen this seller. He's been selling a little more of the stuff that we look at. Index centers with gears for Atlas milling machines, 7 gears, size 40 to 64. The gear attached to the center is a little tight to turn. I assume it just needs cleaning. Sold as is. And they give the part numbers for it. Big pictures only today. Looks to be complete. Everything looks to be there. Gears are pretty ragged looking from a cosmetic standpoint. The whole thing's been used and abused, awful brown around here. Does look to be complete. You know, in this application, with the gears just being used to index off of, condition's not quite as important as it is when you're using them as change gears. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would suspect that by the time they get done screwing around with this, let's see, when does this end? 1 day, 10 hours. It's at 375 now. I suspect by the time they get done messing around, this will go for that $600 to $700 range, which I think is absolutely ridiculous for a used something. You know, they're good for manually indexing. They're again, and they're correct for the machine. Are they worth the $600 or $700 that it's probably going to bring? No, they're not. You know, if these in used condition go for more than about $400, it's too much money. You know, you're not going to utilize them that much to where they're worth that amount of money. But anyway, that's what they are. Beyond that, let's see, 7B metal shaper milling machine guard hinge and pin L6-723 $44.99. Nope, those are a $20 item used. Okay, now we may have already looked at this, and I think I'm recognizing a lot of the things that are here now, so we're not going to go on down, but we'll revisit this one. Atlas horizontal milling machine arbor support iron M1-9, pre-owned, $145 or best offer and free shipping. I've really harped on this, saying that these are not worth that at all, that they can be very easily built for yourself, used in great condition. Well, it's a bar of steel. It's a round piece of steel. They are, it looks like that right there. There's what the ends look like. They're radiused on the end. They're center drilled in that end for no other reason than that's the way they made them. I think that's as much cosmetic as anything else. There may be some real reason to have a index center or a centered drill on the end of it, but in all honesty, I don't know what it is for most of the things we use them for. I said these were very easily machined in the shop. Dimensions are 1.5 inch diameter, and it doesn't have to be anything special. Cold roll will work just fine for this. When I looked at turned ground stock last time I was online looking at these, why, it was about $50 in material and then shipping. They've probably gone up a little more from there, but it's 1.5 inch outer diameter. They're 16 inches long. That's all it is. So don't spend your $145 here. This is a super great shop project, you know, of any kind. Whether you even lathe turns the ends, all they are is that support for the arbor. Build your own. And lathes, under lathes. Oh, excellent original, excellent. This is a new listing. Original Atlas Craftsman 10-12 lathe apron tailstock hand wheel 9-23 $37.50 and $7.50 shipping. You know, that's the outside of what they're going to be worth, and this is a seller that's been around for a little bit, starting to try and make his fortune selling that or parting out machines. Excellent original hand wheel for Atlas Craftsman 10-12 lathe. Will fit tailstock or apron pinion. Those were two different sizes. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I have cheaper hand wheels, but not like this. Send me a message if you're interested. Yeah, cheaper hand wheels mean somebody's imported junk, probably. From the back side, doesn't look bad. Or from the, I guess that's the front side. Doesn't look bad. From the back side, doesn't look bad. $37.50. Maybe, not to me. Okay, Atlas lathe Pic-O Matic covers, brackets, and banjos, pre-owned, $250, no bids or best offer and free shipping. You see very few of these. This is a seller that's been around. I don't know that I really recognize him from here. Description says in good condition, selector wheel, and is one of the better I've ever seen. What you see is what you receive. Free shipping to the 48. Look, the big pictures only. I do not know a whole lot about Pic-O Matic stuff, just because they are rare enough, and I haven't messed with them, haven't had opportunity. So I guess there they are. I do have a hand wheel for these, or the selector wheel, in very good condition. I will consider it very good condition. I'll have to go back and look at it, but yeah, these are the parts. You still have to have all of the change wheels to go with it. So it would probably be interesting to have a lathe set up with these, but there again, unless you've got all the wheels and everything else that goes with them, which I'm not an expert by any means. I don't know them. Is it worth $250? Probably, well, it probably is just because you don't see them. From a practical standpoint, is it worth it? Probably not. Huh. Huh, huh, huh. So there we go. You know, if I were buying it, I'd give half for it. Half. Half, half, half. Excellent Craftsman 1012, Atlas Craftsman 10-12 inch lathe threading dial. I'm not even going to go look. They want 41 bucks for best offer and 725 shipping. Nope, 35 bucks in the door. Okay, now here is the Atlas lathe Pic-O Matic gearbox. Pic-O Matic pre-owned, 200 bucks. This is a gearbox that goes with it, so you got to have this to go along with your other $250 investment if you buy the covers. No. So we're up to $450 for it. Let's see, fully functional Pic-O Matic gearbox. If you're looking, you know what it is. I don't have any need for it anymore, so it should be worth about 50 bucks if you don't have any need for it. Several of the gate oiler caps are missing or broken. Otherwise, all is good. I have all the covers and banjos listed in another listing. Well, why aren't you selling them as a set then? You know, this is a why are you selling half of what you need to do it? Nope. Whole thing's worth 300 bucks. We'll be generous and say both auctions together are worth 300 bucks. Otherwise, no. You're buying something that does you no good because you don't have a complete setup. Bunch of parts. Bunch of parts. Original Atlas Craftsman 10-12 inch lathe tailstock oiler dauber dropper pre-owned, 27 bucks and 625 shipping. That's about what I sell reproductions for. 10-12 inch metal lathe headstock belt guard pre-owned, $29.99 and $21 shipping, free returns. This is a standard horizontal headstock belt guard. 40 bucks in the door, so it's not too far out of line, but a little bit. Bunch of gearbox parts, stuff that nothing I see that really makes me think that anything's worth buying here. I'm sure if you dig through enough, you're going to find some stuff that you need if you're looking for parts or putting them back together, but I'm not really seeing them. I'm not really seeing them. Huh. Everybody trying to unload their junk. Anyway, don't see anything that really intrigues me that much today, but that's a little bit of an update, so we can peruse through there. If you got any questions about anything we've looked at, if you see something here that you want an opinion on, although that's all I'm giving is opinions, why leave me a comment in the comments section for me below. Enjoy your week, guys, and as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.